let us crack on to Prince of Darkness, Drew.
Yes, so beneath an abandoned early 20th century Los Angeles church lies something much, much older. Not just the 16th century catacombs constructed by the Spanish, nor the glass jar that was originally buried in the Middle East around the time of Jesus Christ, but the jar's contents. A swirling green liquid millions of years old, powerful, malevolent, alive. The jar's existence was known only to a secret sect of Catholic priests, known as the Brotherhood of Sleep, until the last of their number dies and Donald Pleasancy's priest discovers it. He quickly determines its nature as a thing of evil and enlists the help of Victor Wong's Professor Birak and his group of 30 to 40-year-old students to scientifically prove its potency and inform the world of the true nature of evil. So yeah, I know students can be any age, but these people are, and I checked on IMDb too, nearly all in their 30s to 40s. It kind of takes you out of that a bit as a group of research students, but minor issue. Spending the weekend in the church, the research group begin investigating the jar and its contents, while the jar's contents begin investigating and then controlling them. Other mysterious phenomena occur, and the church is surrounded by a group of malevolent street people determined to keep them from escaping. After The Thing, and maybe Starman actually, this is probably the first John Carpenter film I saw in its entirety. Thanks, in fact, to Craig, who introduced it to me when I were a lad.
I was going to say, I wondered, I couldn't remember whether this was something you'd recall or not, but I remember lobbying pretty hard for you to watch this.
Yes, I must have talked about it at high school at some point after we said it, because I remember talking about the dream sequences and stuff.
Yeah,
I remember finding it creepy and unsettling in a way few films have ever made me feel, and I had some very strong memories, notably the hand reaching through the mirror, and especially the thing I've just referenced, the dream broadcasts. It had been probably 20 years since I last saw it though, so I was pretty eager to revisit it. Having now done so, I can say that it is alright. It's fine. It held my interest, so that puts it well above most other films in the genre immediately. I really like the idea of Jesus the alien and evil as an elder god and a true tangible force rather than a spiritual concept. Though for all that Prince of Darkness shows scientific research into the phenomenon, it doesn't really commit itself fully enough to the concept. And, it could have really done with some other method of transmission of infection of evil in addition to scoosh of liquid. There are some atmospheric sequences, certainly, but so many of them are massively undermined by the terrible, overbearing and massively too loud music. The surges of which may as well be orchestral stabs, as well as the presence of Dennis Dunn, an unwelcome return from Big Trouble in Little China. So, interesting ideas certainly, some moments of tension and reasonable atmosphere, and Vincent Furnier, better known as Alice Cooper, who's just generally creepy looking bloke anyway. Although it does take you out a bit because here's this guy who's quite clearly Alice Cooper. Look at him, he's Alice Cooper. Look, there's Alice Cooper. You know the one who looks like Alice Cooper? It's Alice Cooper, which takes you out of the film somewhat.
Alice Cooper's in this movie somewhere.
Yeah, but yeah, so tension and reasonable atmosphere despite the soundtrack, and I still enjoyed it. Is it scary though? Sorry, or in slightly politer words, it is most certainly not a frightening film, at least for me, not anymore. Pity that, because I did find it decidedly creepy in the past. Yes, Craig, I'm sorry to have disappointed you that I no longer like it as much as I did.
Not at all. I get it, absolutely. I remain incredibly fond of this, and again, like The Fog, it is a film that came along at a massively formative periods, and like you, I still find an awful lot about it that does work and is unsettling. The effects work and all of the practical stuff has not held together as well as something like The Thing, but I think conceptually I still find this such an interesting film, and again, very much like The Fog, there's an element to this of it's almost like two films spliced together. Again, it's a film that's attempting to address something much, much deeper, but it's dressing it up in very silly clothes. I think it's incredibly noteworthy that this is a film which 30 years ago was trying to marry quantum physics to horror, which is something that we might only reasonably expect to find now that quantum physics is very much a popular buzz topic and seems to be a great excuse for any number of plot contrivances in any number of movies.
Are you thinking of the Cloverfield effect?
I'm thinking of any number of things, but that would certainly be the most recent abhorrent blip on our cinematic radar. While nobody's arm is taking on a life of its own here, and people being fused within walls, I think it's.
Sorry for calling me that.
No, but it's okay. They're all right now. I think it's really notable that this is a film that was about 20 to 30 years ahead of its time, topically. And I just wish it had stuck with that and removed some of the silly, again, sort of over-the-top, just slasher movie elements which sort of creep in around the edges. Like, I don't need to see someone being impaled on a bike.
That's the one. That's the first death, I think. And yeah, when Alice Cooper stabs that guy with
a push bike,
the bike, to like, yeah, this, I had to kind of forgot that element was even in this film because it's not memorable, and it's all the other stuff. It's like so few films had that sort of thing. Every film has people being stabbed. It's boring.
Yeah, and all it does is detract from what is actually a sort of a very fundamentally creepy sort of suggestion or topic that the film otherwise wants to explore. And yeah, I mean, when I watch this now, it's one of two horror films that I own on Blu-ray, the other one being The Fog. And I remain incredibly fond of Prince of Darkness, again, more so because of the sort of half-realised potential of it and the better version of this film that exists in my head. But there is a lot that works about it, and there are still images there that do sort of stay with me even to today. So the dream sequence, which after I saw this movie, the dream messages that were being transmitted is something that after the first time I saw this movie, for a period of about 3 to 4 years afterwards, I would intermittently have that dream. That's how sort of unsettling I found that imagery.
I'm pretty certain I've had that dream too, actually.
Yeah,
a long time ago, of course. I'm pretty sure I did. I found it so effective.
Wait a minute. It's amazingly simple, but also incredibly effective. And again, the thing with the mirror at the end, there is that whole thing of there being a suggestion of horror and sort of pulling back right at the moment before the reveal, so that at least something is